Not all sales opportunities deserve your attention, but a lot of CRMs treat them like they do. Instead of going off gut feel or manually clicking and reading through deals individually, the new deal scoring feature in Pipedrive helps you quickly filter through the noise and work out which deals to follow up on and which deals you should probably leave alone. In this video, I'll explain what deal scoring actually is and show you how to set it up in Pipedrive. Now, we've already shown this new feature to a few of our clients now, and the feedback has been really positive. It's quick and easy to set up, and it's immediately useful. Now, if you feel like you're only scratching the surface with Pipedrive, maybe only using 30% of what this CRM has to offer, then book an introductory call with us using the link in the description below. We can start with an audit of your Pipedrive account to make sure it's set up in the best way and identify what opportunities there are to use Pipedrive to grow revenue in your business. Now, before I go too much further, I do need to point out that deal scoring is a premium feature right here. So if you are on light or growth, you will need to upgrade. Or if you are new to Pipedrive, click the link in the description to request a quote from Minaco. By purchasing your Pipedrive licenses through us, not only will we give you the best price on your subscription, but we'll be able to offer you some complimentary support. Now, you will find the new deal scoring feature in the Pulse area of your sidebar and come down to scores here. Now, I'm going to show you how to create a new scoring set from scratch, and then stay tuned because then I'll show you the actual scoring rules that we've put in place for our consulting business. So let's start by creating a new score. To start with, you need to understand that scoring is done on a per pipeline basis. You cannot apply scores to deals in to multiple pipelines at once. So I'm going to set some scoring rules up for our Pipedrive subscriptions pipeline. We sell licenses to Pipedrive. We want to analyze which deals are good. So we'll give this scoring set a name. We'll just call it Pipedrive subscription scoring, and a description: scoring rules for Pipedrive subscriptions. Pretty simple. Click continue. Now, when you create your scoring rules, you can create criteria that would give the deal a highly positive score, which would add 25 points to the deal score. You can also create criteria that would give the deal a slightly positive score, which would give the deal 10 points. And finally, you can create criteria that would apply a negative score to the deal, and that would deduct 10 points. And you can actually input multiple criteria to add multiple highly positive scores to the deal. Now, there are some suggestions here, and I quite like these. There's a highly engaged set of rules where if a deal's last email received is this week, so the prospect has emailed you in the last 7 days, and the last activity that we've completed on a deal is also this week, and the deal's next activity is not empty, so we have some kind of follow-up scheduled. If those three sets of criteria are met, that would add 25 points to our deal score. So I quite like that suggested one. I'm also going to add my own criteria. So let's add a new condition here, and I'm going to give this a name. We're going to say source equals client referral. So we have on our deals, we have our own custom field called deal source, and we have that set up as a drop-down menu so we can track where did the deal come from. A lot of people find us through YouTube, LinkedIn, Google Ads, and so on. But I can say here, if the deal source is client referral, that's going to give us a highly positive score, because if we've worked with a client already, that client says, hey, you need to work with Paul and his team at Minaco, they do great work, that's a really good sign. So I'm going to make that one of the conditions that would give the deal a highly positive score. Now, if either of those two conditions are met, you get 25 points. Actually, you could get 50 points in this case if both conditions are met. Let's add one more. Let's say if the deal value is more or equal to, let's say, I don't know, $5,000. You know, higher value deals, we really want to focus our attention on those higher value opportunities. Let's go with those. So we'll save that. And actually, oops, I need to give that a value $5,000 plus. So there we go. So those are my 3 highly positive scoring rules. I can go to the slightly positive section here. Let's say, let's use this suggestion. So if the deal's last email received is in the last month and the last activity is in the last month, so the deal's, starting to go a bit colder now, the communication's not as frequent, that would give us the conversation's still happening, but it would give us a slightly positive score. There is also the high priority channel. So a bit like what I said before, you could filter by channel, but you can build your additional criteria there. And finally, let's do a negative score. So let's say if the deal value is less than or equal to $1,000, smaller size opportunity, not really as worth our time to follow up on. So value minus 1,000, that's going to deduct 10 points. Let's also do another one. Let's do if the deal label, we have a label in our account. So if the labels on the deal contains bad vibe, sometimes you have a call with somebody, you just don't get a good feeling. This guy seems difficult to work with, or said some things like, oh, this should be quick and easy. That's always a red flag for us. Comment down below. Tell me, what are your red flags that would make you instantly reject a deal? And finally, let's also use Pipedrive's suggested criteria here. So if somebody's not replying, where the last email received is earlier than this month and the last email sent is later than this month, so the conversation's completely stalled, that is going to deduct 10 points as well. Now, on the right-hand side here, you can do some testing. I would suggest putting in a deal that you think is a good quality opportunity. Put that deal in here, and you can test to see which criteria or how points are awarded to that deal. You could also put in a low quality deal and see how the scoring rules are applied to make sure that the logic you've set up makes sense. Now, before you leave this page, make sure you activate the scoring, otherwise it won't work, and then you can save and close. And if you have a look at one of your deals, you will then see the score at the top in the summary section. So we can see this deal has been given 57 out of 100 points. And if you click the little eye symbol, you can see how it received those points. So because it was highly and medium engaged, we've got that 57 out of 100 points. And if you go to your pipeline, you can actually customize. If you come down to the customize deal card settings here, you can add the deal score as one of the attributes that's visible on the deal card. So you can see on each of these deals, I can very quickly see the score and focus on those really good opportunities. I could also create a filter. So if I add a new filter, I could say, right, show me deals where the score is more or equal to 50, let's just say. Set that up as a filter, and then I can very quickly cut through the noise and focus on those really good opportunities. Now let me show you the scoring rules we've set up for our consulting deals. Now, as this feature is still new, we have some rules in place, but we're still experimenting and tweaking these rules as we go. So for our highly positive scores, we like the highly engaged scoring. That makes a lot of sense. If it's an Asana or Pipedrive deal worth more than $15,000, we score that highly. Or if it's a Zapier deal, because those deals are slightly different, if it's more than $5,000 deal, we score those highly. We also score deals highly if it's been referred by a client, the deal has come from a client, or if it's a previous client we've worked with before. We score those deals highly because there's a good chance they'll work with us again, and we want to look after our previous customers. Once the deal has got to the offer made stage, we're further along, we've had that conversation, we've qualified them, we've sent them some kind of offer, that's going to score the deal higher. And finally, if it's a retainer deal, because retainer revenue is more valuable to us than a one-time project, we score retainer deals higher as well. Slightly positive, we've adopted the engage this month criteria, and then we've just tweaked the values a little bit. If it's just to make them slightly smaller. And negative, we're using the not replying criteria, or if the deal is lower value, we score the deal negatively, just so that we're not spending too much time chasing the lower value opportunities. I love Pipedrive for features like this. You can get deal scoring set up in less than 10 minutes, and it's instantly useful. My team are always asking me, Paul, should I keep following up with this deal? Well, now you can just look at the score. Maybe the conversation is dragging on, there's a few decision makers involved, and we have to jump through some hoops. But if there's a good score on the deal, because it's a higher value opportunity, or it's come from a good source, then let's persist. But if it's a low value opportunity and it hasn't come from a good source or it hasn't got a good score for whatever reason, let's move on. Let's focus on something else. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a like. It is the best way to support this channel. If you have any questions about deal scoring, leave me a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.